Well, hello and welcome to the Photography Pubcast. This is season 5, episode 7. And personally, this is something that we've all been waiting for a long time, isn't it? And I've been really excited for the whole week. So let's just get it over and done with. Jamie, how's your broadband going?
Oh, mate, it's still as bad as it was before.
Is it?
Cruel. It's really cruel. Yeah, they still haven't bloody sorted me out. So
Unbelievable.
terrible.
Unbelievable. No, seriously. We've got a really, really special guest on tonight. Let's all say hello to Thomas Heaton. Hello, Thomas.
Hi, Tom.
Hello. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Yeah, thanks for that wonderful introduction. I was going to say, there's no way that you've all been excited. It's just not true.
I don't know. I don't know. I've been trying. I think I messaged you quite a long time ago to try and get you on, and it's been I've had to join the 617 club to wangle the deal. So,
That was the deal.
Yeah,
you pay for a year's membership.
Yeah, that was the deal.
Well, I'll come on.
Yeah. No, it's really good to have you on. So, before we carry on, I just want to do a few bits of admin. The photography competition, we're now up to 60. What is it? 60, 65, 60. Let's have a look. We're up to 66 entries, and some good ones. You guys all look through?
Yeah.
Some
good ones.
Not the latest ones, but yeah.
Sorry.
Not for the last few days. Yeah,
there's been some really good ones recently. Not that the ones before weren't good, but there's been some really good ones, and in different genres as well. So keep them coming in, because I think last year we got about 140 odd. So it'd be good to get close to that again. And what else have we got? The photography show. I got an email from the photography show this week saying that they've just started to line guests up. We're all going, right? Tom, are you talking at the photography show this year?
It's in London, isn't it, this year?
Yeah.
Which is that caught me off guard. No plans. I got an email from a chap at Case Filters, and he keeps asking me, "Are you going to the photography show?" Implying that maybe I'll go and do something with them, and then I say, "No, I've got no plans." And then just nothing. So I'm I'm waiting for the invite. But yeah, no. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of those big events. I go every now and again. Usually I'll go if I've got a speaking gig. But they're kind of cool in a way, but they're also quite big and can be quite overwhelming. So generally I'd avoid them.
You're probably very similar to me. When I go, I worry about getting recognised, and I kind of shy away from that sort of thing. So I try not to, because you don't want to look like you go in there just for people to go, oh look, there's Thomas Heaton or whatever.
Well, the best way to do that is to get a T-shirt with your channel name on it and walk around with a big fluffy mic. And
he's got that, Tom.
I've got that.
Big fun finger.
Yeah.
You've not.
Tom, was it Andrew Yu that you were talking to?
Yeah,
he's just texting me now, actually. Do you want me to... Yeah, I'll text him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not committing to anything. I just think it's funny.
That's what the deal is, yeah?
He probably doesn't want to pay you. That's...
Yeah.
But we're all going, right? We're all going to go? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Are you not going, Dave? No, you're not, Dave.
Well, I can't commit to anything at the moment. If I can go, I won't know until the last minute. But I'm not really keen on going to London anyway, to be honest. I think it's a bad move putting it there, because think about the NEC, it's where it is because it's as central as you can get.
Well, it's great for me. I just need to jump on a train, so I'm 20 minutes, half an hour away. So, Stu, you going to make it down or
no? I'm I would have been doing something with Case like those two, but I'm in Leforton doing a workshop. So,
okay, cool. Well,
and also, I hate going to that thing, to be honest. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. You're not a fan, are you?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Okay. Well, that's it for admin. I've got nothing else. So I was going to just run around everyone really quickly saying, has anyone done anything exciting this week? But let's start with a guest. Tom, have you been up to anything this week exciting?
Yes,
okay.
I have. Two things worthy of mention.
Okay.
One, I got a new printer. Not as exciting as the other thing, but it's big. I got a new Canon Pro 2600, and it's a joke, man. It's bigger than my... Oh, have you got it, Adam?
Yeah, I've got the same one.
Right.
awesome.
I'm going to give you a call after this podcast because I'm having a few issues. I already broke it. I only set it up today. I've already broken it. So I'd like physically broken it, physically snapped a part off. So it's a bit annoying. But I am making prints from that. I'm just having a few problems with layout and essentially printing economically so I'm not wasting paper. So I want to be able to, print images side by side. And I think I've more or less figured it out. We're getting there after many, many, many test prints. But for me, the problem and the reason I upgraded is because my current printer, or my old printer now, the Pro 1000, I don't know if you remember, but a few months ago it came out with a firmware update which would allow you to print from a roll on that printer. Right. So that essentially means, although it's not a large format printer, you can print up to 1.2 meters long, which is a decent sized panel. But obviously it's not designed to print from a roll, and it won't take a roll. So when I bought a roll of paper and tried to print from it, it was a disaster. Like, talk about like wanting to throw that printer through the window. Every single image, because the paper comes with a roll and it's curved, it would hit the print heads every time it went through. The paper would get jammed, it would get caught. So I wasted so much money just trying to print roll paper through that Pro 1000. And the 2600 obviously is designed to print from a roll straight away. Mm-hmm. And I've just done a few test prints, but oh my God, so easy. Just automatically feeds the roll, pulls it through, prints it so fast, like ridiculously fast, and then cuts the paper beautifully. So all of the problems I had with my other printer have now been solved. But obviously I've introduced new problems into my life, mainly the size of the damn thing, the cost of it. Although Canon are doing a deal where if you own a Canon printer, you can essentially do a cashback thing. So if you send them the serial number of your printer, they'll give you, I don't know, 400 quid off or something, 20%, I don't know, something like that. Trying to encourage people to upgrade. So they got me and I did it, and I'm looking at it now and I'm kind of regretting it because it's so big. But I'm hoping that it will pay off in the long run, and I'll be able to do some really good kind of statement pieces, like big prints. Mm-hmm. The other thing, I went on, what day is it today? Friday. So on Wednesday, I blasted up to Scotland and got the most unbelievable photography conditions you could ever imagine. Best day of photography of my life, hands down. It was unreal. I saw on the weather forecast, there was a warning for sub-zero temperatures and fog. I was like, oh, come on. That's not a warning. That's a call to action. Yeah. So I was sitting down, I was doing my tax return, doing all my paperwork, hating life. And I thought, I saw this weather report, thought I can make it. I can get to Scotland tonight, sleep in the van, wake up and just see what happens. So I did it. I jumped in the van. My diesel heater was broken. So I spent an hour or so fixing that, which was lucky because when I arrived at my location in Scotland, it was about -7 when I arrived. So it was nice and cold. And then I woke up in the morning, not knowing what to expect. And oh my God, just fog and everything covered in a thick, hard frost, like hoarfrost galore, not a breath of wind. And you know what was so amazing is, and in the morning, I was doing that thing that I'm sure we've all done, where we have a panic and it's like, oh, it's going to melt or the wind's going to start blowing. So go, 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 go. And I was really anxious and frantic and rushing around trying to get good shots. And it just never went. I had an entire day from sunrise till sunset and it never changed. The temperature didn't lift, the wind never picked up, and it looked as good at the end of the day as it did at the beginning of the day. A full day of just fog and frost. I was like at one point I was bored. I was like, I just can't keep shooting images of trees covered in frost. It was so good, and I probably bagged a year's worth of images in one day.
Wow.
It was,
nice.
Yeah, it was just an absolute pandemonium. It was fantastic.
Nice. Well, is there any point anyone else going now? Because literally all I've got is I bought a lens.
That's all right.
That's what I did this week. I bought a lens, £19.
I'd just like to add to that, by the way, that most of the time when I go out, it's crap. I just have a knack of getting rubbish conditions. Every now and again, you get something nice. But this was like all my Christmases in one. It was unbelievable.
You had similar conditions, Stu, didn't you? When you went, was it last year or year before? You got the hoarfrost up there.
Yeah, last year in a Sint, just after Christmas. Actually,
a stint.
yeah, but we didn't end up shooting a scent. We ended up kind of driving about 30 miles round the corner from a scent. Found a lot of woodland and stuff up there. So, yeah, not the usual stuff you'd sort of shoot up there, really. But, yeah, very lucky last year with it.
I just can't imagine a scent without gale force winds. That's all I've ever known.
Oh, yeah, me too.
You got a story, haven't you? You've been telling
Well,
us.
I can't really top that, but I ended up going to hospital last Sunday. I'll whiz through this really quick, but I had an operation about 18 months ago, and ever since the operation, I've had like mild discomfort. Anyway, about 2 weeks ago, my stomach started to get really painful, and to the point on Sunday where it was taking my breath away. So Helen said, "Oh, you've got to speak to someone." So I called 111, and as soon as they said abdominal pains, they said, "Right, you need to go to hospital now." So, but the hospital was an hour away, and I really was dreading it. And as soon as I got there, a doctor came out and said, "Oh, can I have everyone's attention, please? It's going to be a minimum of a 5-hour wait. It could get longer because it's Sunday night. We will do our best, but please be patient with us." So I thought, okay. So anyway, I went to the waiting room, and there was this little girl there. I don't know how old she was, 3 or 4. But her mum was tickling her, and she was laughing and screaming, and then she was kind of like picking her up and wrestling with her, and and I thought, oh, I can't sit near you. So I went to the other end of the waiting room, and bless his heart, there was this old boy there, and his feet, he had nothing on his feet, but his feet were like 2 balloons. The skin was stretched like a drum, and they was like they just like gammon loins. It was, and I just thought, oh,
That's a great story. This.
So
Brief.
and then behind me there was a woman. Well, I didn't know it was a woman. There was someone just laying down, covered over with a coat. So anyway, I'm there for.
She hadn't died, had she?
Well, I was there for an hour and a half at this point. Then all of a sudden, she decided to surface from behind me, which made me jump. So I looked at her. Now I've made eye contact with the crazy. And then she's saying, "Do you know where my husband is? Have you seen my husband? Where's my husband?" The kid's still crying. And at this point, I thought, I need to get out of here. I know I'm in pain. But to top it all, any minute now, this bloke's feet could just explode and I'll be covered in meat shrapnel. So I just drove home for an hour, and that was it. I still went home in pain. So that was my Sunday night.
Have we resolved?
I thought there was an ending to this.
Yeah, have we resolved the pain, or just?
Well, I had an emergency appointment the following day, so I won't bore you with that story. But now we're on. Hopefully, we've got a plan how to resolve this. It's probably scar tissue, but I've got to go for. So as much as I love the NHS, and they're brilliant, that was an experience that I don't want to go through again. And unfortunately, I think it was up near your neck of the woods where the hospital was.
Whose neck of the woods?
Yours.
8 people.
Sorry, I was talking to Gary. Sorry.
What, Bedford.
No, I'll tell you, I won't mention the hospital because they was very nice. It was just like there was just a few crazies in there. That's all. So
probably Luton.
Must be Vancouver Island.
Yeah. What about you, Adam? Have you been up to anything exciting?
We had some wood delivered. That was pretty exciting.
Oh, okay.
No, nothing exciting. Just packing books.
Okay.
That's
your book, Adam, is arriving tomorrow. I've got confirmation.
Excellent. You'll have to let me know what you think.
I will do. I'll let you know if it arrives.
Critique.
if you can keep hold of it for more than a day without losing it, Adam, of course.
I won't lose this, I promise.
Yeah, good. I hope so. What about you, Jamie?
Me, no, nothing. Well, you might notice a slight different background again this time. I've had another move round of the office, and this is to accommodate the son that's coming to stay for Christmas, and he needs to have all of his gear and his PC and everything. So I've given up my office and I've moved into the study. So yeah, another little move round.
Plus, so you've got an office and a study?
Well, the office that is an office was a playroom when the kids were younger, and I made it an office because it was a big space that had nothing in it apart from rubbish. So I put desks and put my printer in there and everything else. But this was the original study we're on back now. The benefit of this room is, one, I can close the door, and two, it's got a radiator that's right next to my feet. So when I'm working
and you're not
from
next to a roller shutter garage.
No, indeed.
It just sounded like you were trying to compete with Daz, sort of having a couple of wings and a butler.
That's a piece, making it up. Okay, I can't even remember who we've got to. Dave.
I haven't done anything, just taking Jan to the hospital and stuff.
Okay. Sam?
Well, I've been in Switzerland this week. I just got back yesterday, so if I fall asleep halfway through the podcast, it's because I'm pretty knackered. But I spent most of yesterday in Luton Airport actually, which was fun, and got whammed as I mentioned.
So sorry for you.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't play the other place. Yeah.
What a place to get whammed though, Luton Airport.
I know.
It's adding insult to injury, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, as I said in the message, it's a double whammy.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
But yeah, I was in Switzerland, but I wasn't in the mountainous, landscapey bit of Switzerland. I was in Basel, so but it was still very nice. Did a bit of going to the Christmas market with my work colleagues type of stuff.
So technically, if you fall asleep, the only thing that's different from normal podcasts is that Tom's here. So you got to keep him awake, Tom. Otherwise, it's going to be your fault. Well, your exciting tales, I'd imagine, would probably do it. Hopefully. So, Stu, what have you been up to? Because you were workshopping, weren't you, for the last couple of weeks? So,
yeah, I've not long got back. Fighting with twat Airbnb people trying to extort money out of me. They tried to do the classic cleaning thing with you. Oh, we're going to whack some more cleaning charges. No, wasn't having any of that. So that's all been sorted now. Not much else. Taking the missus to the hospital like Dave. And I'm going to the Liverpool game tomorrow. So that'll brighten up the week a little bit.
Okay. Who are they playing?
Fulham.
Oh, yeah. Should be all right. Should be all right. Yeah.
Easy.
Okay, so it's just down to me, and I'll very quickly. I bought a new lens for £19 from eBay. It's a Pentax SMC 135mm f3.5 vintage lens that I'm going to take to London tomorrow to do some street photography. So I'm quite looking forward to that. So that's it. Oh, and I joined a group as well. Which I have to say I'm very much enjoying it. And genuinely, I know Tom's here, but genuinely I am. So we're going to move on to that anyway, because we did have a question from someone asking you, Tom, why you set up the 617 Club. So I think we'll go on to that now. But I have to say, from experience, I've been on it a week, and it's been really good. I mean, I've made an effort, but it has been really good.
Thanks. Yeah, that's nothing to do with me. That's all the people. 617 Club. Why did I set it up? Well, it's really, let's say, for example, I'm on YouTube and I want to arrange a meetup, right? You can't do that on YouTube. You just can't, because you'll get hundreds, maybe thousands of people turning up, possibly. So what I needed to do was create a way, basically create a community for people who genuinely care, like the real fans, the people who are committed to the channel and who love photography. And there had to be a paywall, because if there was no paywall, everyone would join and then it would just be a mess. So it was like a free Facebook page. It would just be full of people, and the engagement would probably die off. It would be chaos, as I'm sure you can imagine. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it would be good for generally something that was quite like anti-social media in a way. Like, there's no algorithms, no sponsorships, no advertising, nothing like that. And it's just a place for people to really connect. And the idea of it was for it not to be about me. Like, it's not my club. I wanted to create something, or create a place where people could form friendships and go out and be encouraged to shoot more. Because I think one of the biggest challenges that a lot of landscape photographers face is just motivation to get out and shoot. It's all fine when you get a new bit of gear or when you get a fantastic weather forecast, but I'm sure many of us have experienced that kind of not wanting to get up and go out in the morning, or making excuses as to why you don't think it's worth going wherever. So we create a bit of an atmosphere that encourages people to go out and shoot. And it's a very social thing as well. We have a lot of meetups. We have weekly live streams. It's just a place for people, photographers to hang out, basically.
I have to say, I mean, like I said, I've been on it for about a week now, and it is. I don't hate social media, but I find it. I don't generally tend to interact with posts and bits and pieces on social media, and I've got to say, I have made an effort. I have said, like, well, if I'm going to use it, I'm going to, like, try and immerse myself in it and use it. But I've already sort of made links with 3 or 4 guys on there, and and the conversation's pretty good, and the images are good. The only thing I would say, because I am an honest guy, right? And I don't. No. The only thing I was going to say is that could you in some way, because I've been thinking about this, because 198 quid in it to join for the year. Yeah. Right. And that's an outlay for someone. And I don't think you should do monthly, right? I think a year is fine, and a year is fair. But what I would suggest, and you can tell me, get lost if you want, but could you not do like a month as a trial? You pay for a month, and then if you like it, you join for a year. And then if they don't like it, they've gone. They've still paid that money for the month and they've gone. But you might catch more people if you do it. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. The problem with that, because we discussed the monthly thing, like the 617 Club is ever evolving. So the idea is, if you look at it in 3 years' time, for example, there'll be online courses. Everything will be hosted within the club. So if I'm going to do a photography course, it'll be inside the club. So that's how you access it. And we do the bi-monthly photo challenges with prizes. We have guest speakers every month. So our thinking is, if you join for 1 month, you're not going to get a great deal out of it. You need to be in it for a long period of time and be committed in order to essentially start to see the value and sort of see personal growth, if that makes sense. So if you're in there for a year, you're going to get access to tons of amazing photographers giving presentations. You're going to be able to join in with 3, 4, or 5 photo challenges and have the chance to win lots of prizes that way. And you can have more time to socialize. People are organizing their own meetups in their specific areas where they live. So in other words, what I'm getting at is, it's not a wham bam thank you ma'am situation. You need to be in it for a year to make those connections and to start to see progress. That's what I think anyway. And I just worry that people are going for a month and they go, my photography's not improving, or I haven't even had a chance to complete one of the photo challenges yet, and then just leave. So you need to be in it for the long game, I think.
I guess if you had people coming in just for a month, you'd have quite a lot of people who would come in 1 month, disappear, then the next month you'd have a whole bunch of other people who'd come in, disappear. And even for those people who are committed and sticking to it, it would start to detract for them, because you don't have that tight-knit community to build.
Exactly. One thing I've noticed is the same names popping up time and time again. People are getting to know each other. I mean, we've done 3 or 4 meetups now, and it's the same people. We had a massive Christmas meetup with, I think it was about 50 of us sat down for dinner. It was fantastic. That was in York. Yeah, and I worry that if people are in for a month, the new faces will pop up, and then the engagement will drop off as they leave. So I'm not necessarily sure that's good for the club. I appreciate we might sell more spaces, but the idea of it is not to sell tickets. The idea is to build a solid community, like a solid one, whereby in 3, 4, or 5 years' time, it's not mine and Simon Baxter's club. We're trying to distance ourselves from it. It's just its own thing. That's what we want. And in order to get that, we need a solid community. I just worry that people dipping in and out might not work.
Yeah,
but we are flexible.
No, it's a stupid idea, Tom. No, it's a stupid idea.
No, it's a good idea.
I'm just joking with you. No, yeah, no, I totally get where you come from. And I will say, from my short experience, it's definitely, there is a community feel to it. There is definitely a community feel.
Another thing from a business standpoint, if say like this time next year we've got an extensive photography course all chaptered out in there, then that means you could join for free and just access the course and then leave.
Yeah.
So
that's true. No, that's fair comment, Tom, and I do appreciate what you're saying. I mean, like I said, I genuinely have really enjoyed the last, and I don't enjoy social media anymore. I don't really enjoy Facebook groups. But I have really enjoyed that. And I will say, you say that you and Simon don't get involved, but you are quite active on the group as well.
Yeah, at the minute we're active, but we don't ever. The idea of it is that it's not dependent on the two of us, because then you just fall into the trap of it being just about me and Simon when it's not. We want it to be about the members. That's why we allow members, the people can do whatever they want, but that's why we encourage members to organize their own meetups and stuff like that. We have guest speakers in where me and Simon don't have to be too much involved in the live streams. We even are planning to get members to do live streams themselves, so like member live streams, that sort of thing. It's so far it's going well. I've got to say though, you'll have to sort of be in a bit longer, because there's this photo challenges that this one, the current one, is pareidolia, which is where you see faces and things. So I hope you enter that one, Gary, because it's good fun. It's kind of, the idea is that people get up and go out and shoot. They basically give people motivation to go out and shoot, because one of the worst things is not really knowing what you want to photograph, and then you just end up fairly unhappy. So this gives people a bit of a kick up the backside.
I think I've got some smiley faces in the freezer, so
I'll do it. You can do anything you want. There's some good prizes as well. We budget. We have a good chunk of our annual profit margin dedicated to prizes, so people are winning like decent stuff.
And it's smiley faces are going to cut it.
Also, it's not a competition. We're very careful to say it's not a competition, as in it's not always, because what we want to avoid is just a handful of really good photographers just smashing it out the park every month, and then other people feel discouraged. So we're kind of trying to mitigate that by putting a time limit on it, so you can only enter images that are taken during this relatively short period. And then we have like secret categories where essentially Simon and I give prizes based on things other than just image quality. So it's like most creative interpretation of the theme, or best. Well, it can be anything, but we look at the selection and then
we'll discuss that offline.
Am I boring the viewers?
No. I'm just trying to get the secret ones so no one else gets them.
And we also have a wild card. So just for entering the challenge, or just for taking part in the challenge, we'll pick someone at random and give them a decent prize. I think the last one was a Valorette bundle, so you get gloves, hat, and scarf.
Oh, I've just bought some of them.
This is pretty decent.
Cool. Well, I don't lie and I don't fluff, but I am very much enjoying it, I have to say, and that's honest. I am genuinely really enjoying it. So, and I haven't interacted on social media or on anything so much in ages. So,
good. We've got Rachel Talabot in week after next, I think. So, definitely worth tuning in for that. She's great.
Yeah. And I guess, Tom, from a business point of view, it's taken a little bit of pressure off the YouTube side of your business. If you're getting reasonable revenue coming in from that, is that one of the reasons as well, to try and remove the reliance on the YouTube revenue?
Yeah. So one problem I have with YouTube is, well, it's never good to have all your eggs in one basket. I rely too heavily on sponsorships, and as much as I need sponsors just to make a living and make everything worthwhile, I hate it, man. I hate interrupting a video with a sponsorship. I hate having to work to a deadline. And I appreciate the viewers don't like sponsors either. So I wanted to start cutting back on sponsors and getting rid of them, and then finding other revenue streams. I bought this new printer. I'm going to start selling prints. I've got the 617 Club, which has got quite high running costs. So although that's not mega profitable, if we get it up to a bigger size, yes, the idea is that then it alleviates pressure from YouTube, because I would love YouTube to just be like sponsor-free, ad-free, epic videos where I don't care about algorithm and things like that. You know, I mean, the dream for me is one video per month, but like an hour long, like epic. You know, that's where I'd like to get to, and I'm sort of figuring out how to do that. And having things outside of YouTube is one step towards that, such as the 617 Club.
Well, it's good to hear that you're starting to like sell prints again, because I don't think you sold prints for quite some time, did you?
I've always had a problem selling prints. Not a problem selling them, just I don't know if anyone else is the same. Like, I can't put a value on prints. I don't know how to do it. No matter what happens, I either feel like I'm selling it too cheap, or I feel like I'm charging too much. I haven't found.
Can I say that I've
spot.
only ever bought 3 landscape photography prints, and actually I bought it from you 3 guys that are here now. I bought one from you, Tom, which was the red hut that you
that
sold
was a long time ago, wasn't it?
4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago.
7 or 8.
Was it really that long ago? Wow.
Yeah.
So
that was a limited edition. That I've never.
Number 2, I got missed out on number 1. Got number 2.
So yeah, it's interesting that, because again, I always have this battle with myself: should I do limited runs or not? And part of the argument for doing a limited run is it encourages me to create more work. So if a print sells out, then you got to go and create something new, which is good. It kind of adds this perceived value, which I'm not sure is a real tangible thing.
I'm not convinced.
No, I'm sort of leaning that way. But then I think it's nice for the person who buys it to think that it's an original piece that really there's not that many around. But I don't know.
Stu, what's your thoughts on that then? About pricing as well?
Pricing?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit different for me running a gallery, because it's on a high street, and you've got to factor in your audience at the end of the day. My work, I think, massively is underpriced for where it is, but the marketplace I'm working in has a big factor on that. If you're just selling your prints with no pressure to sell them, you can price them at whatever you like. But I mean, pricing them in isolation, if you took away a gallery, I mean, I don't know. My personal sort of take on it is, whatever you think it is, price it a bit higher, to be honest. I think if you price too low, you kind of box yourself into a corner a little bit with it. And then if you start to change prices again in future, then people start to sort of go, oh, he's changed his prices. So I think you're better off starting at a point where, you give a fair and honest sort of value of your work. And if people want to buy it, they'll buy it, I think.
But how do you value it? Because here's what I struggle with. So you've got obviously the physical cost, right? You've got ink, you've got the paper. That's sort of the consumables. But then you've got all of these other costs, like, oh, well, you've got your camera gear and you've got the actual printer, but then you've got the time spent in the field shooting it. But then you think, well, I'd have shot the image anyway, even if I don't sell a print. So it's different for you having a gallery. But for me, I'm like, okay, well, this print has physically cost me, I don't know, 80 quid, let's say, in ink and paper, if it's a large print. And then what do you do? Mark that up by 2/3 and sell it? Or do you look at the value as in, I had to sit in a snowstorm for 3 hours and just, use my creative vision to create this one-off masterpiece. Therefore, I'm going to value it at $5,000.
Yeah, and can I just say that the 3 prints that I've got, one from Tom, one from Adam, one from Stu, can I say, gents, they're all upstairs, because I don't want them to be overshadowed. Because I know straight away that if someone walks into my house, if I had your 3 prints downstairs, like my daughter, I had all my prints laid out on the table once to go to the framers with Adam's on the table. And then she walked straight in. She went, "Oh, Dad," she goes, "that photo's amazing." I went, "Yeah, that's the only one, darling. It's not mine." So yeah, so yeah.
Actually, it's not 3 prints. It's 4 prints.
It is 4 prints.
Okay.
I was going to point this out.
Yeah, Tom, if you don't know, I thought the framers lost Adam's print that I was very upset about. And it turns out that they never lost it at all. I didn't take it to the framers. It was safely stored in the rack over there. And Adam very kindly sent me another one. So I have 2 Adam Gibbs prints, both the same, but
well, there you go. See, I've got I've tried everything with selling prints. I've printed them in packs. I've done individual limited editions. I'm going to try something different this year, next year. And I'm going to put a print. I'm going to say I go out and make an image. I'll just do a one-off print and I'm going to auction it. And then people can pay what they think it's worth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'll just never be happy otherwise.
What I was going to say, Tom, was just, I mean, the easiest thing I'd say is just have a look at your peers. What are they pricing? Where do you think your work sits? You know, I mean, that's got to give you some sort of ballpark.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do that, by the way. I scout.
Well, yeah, I mean,
always looking at my competition. What are they doing?
Well,
what are they charging?
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. You are right. I think a lot of it has to do as well with I'm so precious with my prints. I'm such a perfectionist. Like, if there's, say, I'm printing a glossy print and there's a hairline scratch on the emulsion, even if I know that 99% of people won't say I can't send it. It has to go. It has to be reprinted. So yeah, I used to get frustrated making prints because I could never quite get it perfect. Hence, again, this new printer. And so far, I've literally done 5 test prints, and that's it. But it's just been so easy. So I'm hoping this is going to alleviate a lot of pressure and stress.
Tom, you were saying before about plotting up the prints and wastage and economy and that.
Yeah.
Have you got a RIP program?
What the hell's no? What?
Have a look at a RIP program. There's a
RIP.
Yeah.
Queues up the jobs before they go to the printer, effectively.
Yeah, but it'll make plotting up the prints a lot easier. The Canon software is not bad, but
the Canon software is shocking. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not great for aligning stuff and all that sort of thing.
I've got. Sorry, go on.
Well, the one I use is Mirage, but there's a few other ones. Jamie works in the print industry.
Yeah. Fiery is the main one.
What's that? Sorry.
Fiery. Yeah, FIERY. They're the main RIPs. But yeah, so essentially it's software that allows you to consolidate, impose, and block the prints up, and then choose what to send to the printer at what time. So you can control what goes, but you can backlog them together, batch them together, and impose them up at the right way. So the most economical one is produced at the right time.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I mean, again, like very sort of pedestrian stuff I was doing, but I was using it's quite funny, Canon's professional print and layout. You can't lay out anything. Literally, you just couldn't do anything. I was so frustrated. And then when I finally just went ahead and did a print, the colors came out all yellow and flat. It was like, what is this? Even though I had the right profile loaded. So usually I'll print direct from Lightroom. So I did another print from Lightroom, absolute spot on, perfect colors. And then the only problem with Lightroom is I couldn't figure out my layouts. Like, I wanted to do side-by-side prints. I want to do test prints and have no paper wastage. But I think I've figured it out now by creating custom paper sizes that are the same width as the roll, and then just however long they need to be to accommodate the images.
I just print mine in Photoshop and just have them all as layers, each individual photograph as layers.
So your template size, is that the same size as your paper roll, like 24 inches wide? And then,
well, most of my prints tend to be 11 by 14, so I have them set up so that there's 2 side by side. So I'm using maximum amount of paper. Maximum amount of space for the prints that I'm making. But I just have them as layers.
A plugin? Do you use?
No, just have them as layers. I mean, the file sizes are massive.
But what about your paper profile?
The one I got is actually custom because I'm using Epson paper on a Canon printer. So I had to get a custom profile made by a local guy. I just use the one paper at the moment. I find that if you're using all kinds of papers, it just causes all kinds of problems. So I just use 1 or 2 papers, same papers over and over again.
It sounds similar to what Photoshop and Lightroom are essentially the same software, so it's probably the same thing. But you've got more flexibility. The nice thing is that
you can move things around because it's a layer. You can just move the print around. I mean, I'm not saying it's the most efficient way to do it, but that's how I've always done it. So it works for me, and I can really maximize. Like I can squeeze in prints into little, if I got a bit of room left on a roll of paper, then I can squeeze a print in there and move things around.
So you create a Photoshop page, like the template that's the same width as your paper, and then you extend it by however many prints you want to put in.
Yeah, precisely.
Oh,
yeah,
I might do that.
You see this here, right? This whole conversation, right, is why these guys are pros, right, and the rest of us are absolute amateurs.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. You carry on. No, I mean, I don't have a printer, but I'm learning. So
well, I must admit, I'm desperate to get another printer. I really am. My one's so old now, and I don't know. I keep toying with the idea of getting. Well, it would have been the Canon 1000, the 1100s out now, but that's like 600 quid to fill it up. And I watched a video the other day, and I think they said something like, if you print, because I'd only be printing for me, and if you print something like one photo a month, when you work out the ink, 70% of that is actually wasted on cleaning every month because you use it so little.
I thought they'd improved that. I thought the new Canons had sort of sorted all that out. I think that was the case with the older ones, but apparently the newer ones are more efficient now.
What, the 1100 is more efficient?
Yeah,
is that
right? It's a part of the newer set. They've got the 2600, which is the one I've got. I think they released 3 of those at different sizes, and the 1100's the new batch of printers as well. I don't know this for sure. You probably have to Google it, but apparently one of the upgrades is that they're more efficient when they cycle on and off. Right. Yeah, that's annoying, isn't it? To me, it just sounds like a conspiracy. Like, let's just use loads of ink every time we turn it on, and then we'll have to buy more ink.
Well, my ink cartridges are only like 14 mil. And if I don't print for a month, I can guarantee that as soon as I put that printer on, I'm going to have to change a cartridge. Every time I print a photo, I've got to change at least one cartridge.
See, the cartridges that I'm slowly purchasing them because I can't afford a full set are the 700 mil cartridges.
Wow!
But they're $400 each, and there's 12 of them.
Wow!
I don't get them.
But in the long run, you're going to save a hell of a lot more money than using the smaller cartridges.
I saw a YouTube video of a company who was selling third-party ink for the 2600, and I don't know. I mean, they claim that it was a perfect match color-wise. I'd be nervous about using it, but there are third-party inks out there where I think you just refill the cartridges.
Yeah, they are refills.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster, but could save some money.
It's risky.
Do you want to use Canon inks, Joe?
You are?
Do you want to use Canon inks?
Well, that third-party thing, I mean, listen, it would be bloody brilliant if there was a third party that did that. I think they'd absolutely clean up if they were reliable. But I did one years ago where I bought third party and I sold a print to someone, and I was absolutely mortified. About 3 or 4 months later, the thing started turning magenta.
Cool.
It was fine when it went out the door, obviously, but after 3 or 4 months, the print just started degrading badly. And this guy got in touch with me and he said, what's happening here? And he sent me a picture. I was like, Jesus Christ. Okay, that was my...
You should have told him it was outside his warranty period.
Yeah. But yeah, I vowed never again. Unless someone is absolutely, cast iron certainty with them, I won't touch them. But yeah.
It's funny, I'm actually having problems getting the ink for my printer. Canon Canada, I've been waiting months. And when I was in the UK, I contacted Canon UK, and they said, well, get it from Photospeed, or there was another company. But it was about $80 more per cartridge in the UK than it is here. So I didn't bother.
That's about right.
I was going to say, there's a surprise. Really?
Right.
Things cost more in the UK than everywhere else in the world.
Well, some of that was the exchange rate, because the Canadian dollar is pretty crap right now. But I couldn't believe it. I thought, wow, that's a lot more.
So, but that's typical, is it? You see something like, and these are hypothetical numbers, but you see a camera for $3,000, and then you see the same camera for £3,000.
Yeah,
you just think, I can't work that out. That's
it's always been that.
Well, I mean, I'm quite interested to know. I don't know if anyone can answer this, but what the kind of tipping point is for the lay kind of hobby photographer like myself. At what point one should consider switching from using a service like Loxley or DS Color Labs, which is what I use for prints, to printing your own work, because I'd love to print my own work, and at the moment I feel like I don't do enough of it to justify the cost. I feel like it, I probably print once a month or so. I'll get a print done with Loxley, or a couple of prints done with Loxley. So they're costing whatever it costs for an A4 or an A3 print, and I like getting the prints back and having them and just popping them up on the wall. At the moment, I feel like I don't do it regularly enough that it would be beneficial to buy a printer, but I know it would be much better to be printing them myself. I don't know.
I can't answer the question from a commercial perspective, Sam, but what I can answer is that I've only got the 300, the Pro 300 Canon, so I'm only printing A3 Plus. But just having the ability to come back from a shoot and put the memory card in, edit the shot, and literally watch it coming out of a printer and see your picture that you've just literally been and shot within hours printed on medium, and actually just physically look at it, that experience is brilliant. It really is. I don't do a lot. I want to print and frame more of my stuff, but I just love that process, being able to capture it and physically see it in your hands within hours of taking the shot. And you can't necessarily get that when you're waiting for the print to come through the door when you've ordered it from DS Lab. So that's purely an advantage that I've got from having my own printer, without a doubt.
I agree. I use the Canon Selfie. It's fabulous.
Yeah, I would say the problem if you send your prints to a lab, there's always that sort of little barrier to entry. It's like, oh, can I really be bothered spending 25 quid or 20 quid or whatever? Whereas if you've got your own printer and paper, yes, economically, just don't even think about it. It's just a hobby, right? You pay thousands for cameras and lenses, and all you're doing is, if you just look at it purely from like a craft side of things, it's an amazing thing to be able to, you've got your camera, you've got your lens, you've got your tripod, you've been outdoors, you've done your shoot. You need to complete that process by coming up with a physical thing rather than it just sitting on a hard drive and ultimately just ending up lost in a stack of digital data. So I would say that the easy answer to that is, just buy a printer. Of course, it costs money, and people are aware of that. If you're fortunate enough that you make an all right living and you're fairly comfortable, then you can kind of just forget about the cost and just look at it purely as a craft thing. Like, I don't know, imagine you build furniture as a hobby, but at the end of the build, you had to send your chair to be waxed. It just doesn't make sense. You do it all in-house and you do you enjoy the process. So I'd encourage everyone to print at home rather than using a lab. And you can still use a lab for those bigger pieces, but just as a hobby, just for that satisfaction factor, I'd say, definitely make the investment.
I totally agree. I mean, I was joking about the Canon Selfie, but I have to say, knocking out a little postcard-sized image and sticking it on the wall in my little gallery with some blue tack, it's not a proper print, but it is something physical that I can look at on the wall, and it's not on a hard drive. And I move them around and turf the old ones out because it costs a couple of pence to print them on that. But I bought it because I wanted a physical thing, but I just wasn't prepared to spend stupid money on the sort of amounts of ink that are required for a 1000 or 1100. So I actually do use it quite a lot.
But what you just said, that I do that all the time. I've got, like, joking aside, I've got quite a lot of my own photos up. But then what I'll do, they're all roughly like the standard size, the standard crops. And then what I'll do, if I get a photo that I really like, I'll just take the other photo out and just pop it kind of in that frame. And I'm almost constantly kind of replacing them, And honestly, Sam, I don't think that you'll regret it at all once you've got a printer.
Yeah,
it becomes tangible. It does. It becomes a lot more personal to you. And you sit there. It's a bit like, you'll sit there overnight, for example, and you'll just glance at it, and you just, I really remember that. I love taking that photo. I love that print. It's rather than when you got it on your hard drive. a lot
Yeah.
of times you just forget about it.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
Tom made a really good point. You know, it's about completing the circle of the craft that you're undertaking.
Well, I just want to say a huge thank you, because I've been trying to persuade Hannah for years to let me go and buy a printer. So what I can do now is just play back that whole last 5 minutes of conversation and
There you go.
bam, there you go. I'm
Yeah.
off to a shop tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I buy him a printer. Do it.
Yeah, just on that as well. Hannah, don't. It's not worth it, Hannah. Don't. You're wasting your money, honestly.
I mean,
Sorry,
even when I used to shoot film, because you'd be shooting slide film, you'd still come back with a physical piece of, a photograph, right? And then, I've still got my old Kodak projector, and you put your slides in the projector, and then you could look at your images that way.
Yeah,
But
I had loads of slides from the early 80s, and an ex-wife made a bonfire of them, and I'm really upset because they're irreplaceable. But I wish I still had them.
I think you find they're iridescent now.
Yeah. But it was a body of work when I was finding my feet over sort of the first 5 years of doing photography, and I developed them all myself, and it was I really enjoyed it. And there are 4 or 5 that I took that I really liked, and if I still had them, I would have probably made them into prints, because again, is what Darren says. He's absolutely right. You look at something on the wall and it's just that constant reminder of something, and when it's on a hard drive, you just never have that reminder.
Yeah.
No.
So, Tom, when I sent you the email and I said that we'll get through some of the topics and possibly not all of them, this is what happens on here. So we've got through one topic so far. That's it. Okay, so moving on. That was a really interesting conversation, actually. I mean, it went totally over my head because I'm like a total Luddite when it comes to printing, but it was really interesting conversation. Let's move on to another topic, though. This one's a good one, I think. What part of our photography are we still not happy with, and what do we struggle with the most?
Printing.
Yeah. So expand on that, Tom. Let's talk about printing, because I'm...
Did I tell you I've got a new printer?
Yeah. You should try, what's it called? What was it called? Rigging? Ripping. Yes, you should try that. Yeah, see how much I paid attention, can't you?
Well, I had an answer to that, Gary, and
Go on, then.
it's already been answered while we've been talking. It's not about printing.
Okay.
Tom mentioned it earlier on. My biggest struggle as a hobbyist is motivation. And it's probably now more than ever this time of year as well, when I'm really struggling to motivate myself to just to get out, and I'm very weather dependent. I'm really being choosy on the weather, so the weather has to be something pretty special to make me want to get out and get the camera and drive a distance to take some pictures. And that's the other challenge of where we live. It's not great from a point of view of, you can't just nip down the coast, or you can't just nip up a fell, or you can't just nip to a lake. They haven't got that benefit. So trying to find somewhere photogenic within a distance puts me off that drive if the weather's not right, or I don't know. So that is that motivation that I'm really struggling with. And I know I'm not alone with that. There's a lot of other hobbyists, as Tom's indicated, through one of the benefits for 617, of course. So yeah, that's my biggest struggle. So I think the answer is for me to join 617 as well, by the looks of it.
Yeah, definitely. That'll solve your problems.
If you do, can I refer you?
Oh, okay.
Listen. 2 words: street photography, Jamie.
Oh God, no.
I know, because I know, Tom. I know you're not keen, right? I know you're not keen, but I need to convert you as well, Daz, and you, James, and you, Sam.
That'll never happen.
Seriously,
I'm not doing it.
It's honestly, it's Dave. Back me up here. Street photography is great, isn't it?
I do enjoy it. That's why I bought the Leica.
Yeah, I know I mean, I know you've spoken about it, Tom. I watched the live Lands thing you did, and I think, Daz, you're in a similar boat. You feel uncomfortable. You feel uncomfortable out in the street with your camera, and you feel
anything to do with people. Do you know what I mean? I just don't. I'm not being funny, but
it's not
like,
people.
I know it's different, but like, the worst thing to me, I'd rather do street photography than wedding photography. That would be my absolute nightmare.
Think of it as landscape photography in an urban environment.
Yeah, but there's still people.
That's how I started street photography. A lot of my images they're kind of composed like a landscape shot. So they've got all the elements in of a landscape image, but they just have a human element in. And you don't have to literally, you don't have to do a Bruce Gilden and get in everyone's face, and you can take people as they're walking away or as they're in the distance, like Mark Fernley's very good at that. Fan Ho, in the past, very good at that sort of thing. But it opens up so much. You don't have to. It's not weather dependent. You don't have to. You don't have to rely on the. I mean, light's obviously important in all photography, but you don't have to rely so much on the light. It's more about shooting.
I think we spoke about this. I think we spoke about this last week, actually. Kind of, about photography and what it does, and what would you do if photography wasn't in your life? And I said not a lot for me would change because I like being outside. I like being out in the mountains. I like going for a walk and that kind of stuff. But so I think that for me, photography is great because I'm almost outside on my own. To do photography in a city is not my idea of fun. It wouldn't be relaxing for me. I need to be away from that element. So as much as, I know that you like it, and I do appreciate some street photography. I think they're great. I really do. It's just not for me, mate. Sorry.
I think going back to Jamie's problem, I think a lot of photographers suffer with this once the honeymoon period is over. Do you say you're very weather dependent. Do you find yourself checking the weather and then doubting it, thinking, it's probably not going to happen? And then you think, and then you convince yourself, no, it's not going to happen. I'll stay in bed or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
The biggest way to get over that is for me anyway, is to, you need to eliminate all expectations of what might be. You need to stop looking at your photo shoots as photo shoots. It sounds counterintuitive. You need to be, you need to sort of enjoy the process more. So basically, if you're going to go to the Lake District, as an example, or wherever, and you're going to go for a walk around the lake or from A to B, or you're going to check out a forestry path, then that needs to be your main objective. The objective should never be to go and create a beautiful image of perfect light, mist, fog, frost, everything. It just never happens. Very rarely happens. Whereas if you just think, okay, I'm going to go and enjoy this walk and I'm going to take my camera with me, but get rid of the weight of expectation of coming away with this banger image, what you'll find is that you very much just enjoy being out with the camera. And likelihood is, if you've got no pre-visualized image, or actually I don't know if pre-visualized makes sense as a word. I just think visualized, because to pre-visualize is just to have an empty head.
Yeah, preconception.
That's very true.
Preconceptionized.
If you basically don't have a final image in your head, just be open, then you'll come away with you'll just see so much more.
Yeah.
And then
you've hit the nail on the head, because I spent 5 hours walking around a woodland in Norfolk a couple of weeks ago with that idea in my mind of the type of image I wanted to take, and the conditions weren't really right for it. I couldn't find it. It was messy, and I started to get more and more negative that I just couldn't be bothered to either get the camera out of the bag anymore. And I just thought, no, I'm going home. I've had enough, because I'd got that preconception in my mind of what I wanted to take, and the conditions or whatever weren't there. So I just got a bit demotivated and got in the car and went after 5 hours of trying to find what I was looking for. So yeah.
You've got to. I find that because I have this kind of weird thing where I have the pressure of making these weekly videos, so I feel like I have to get good images more often than not. Otherwise, I'll just release a string of videos that have either got no images or certainly no half decent ones. And fair enough, they don't always have great images. But what I find is when I'm starting to get in that frame of mind where I'm frantically looking for an image and I just can't find it and I'm getting frustrated, I just stop doing photography. So I just walk, and then it doesn't take long before something catches my eye, and it's usually something that I wasn't thinking about. I might be looking for that epic tree with autumn colours surrounded by other trees that have lost all the colours. So you get that, if you're looking for something specific, you'll probably never find it. But if you just stop looking, then something might catch your eye, and then you go, oh, okay, and you investigate that further. And before you know it, you're on your hands and knees photographing mushrooms under a rotten log. Who knows?
Or eating them.
Or eating them.
What?
Eating
them, yeah. And then
That might help.
a whole
That might
world
help
of weird.
That might help your creativity.
Yeah, you definitely feel a bit better. Yeah.
My recommendation is get a dog, because it forces you to go out with you walk in the dog. And so I probably make one half decent photograph a month just because I carry the camera when I'm out with the dog. But I don't go out to do photography. I just have it with me, because you never know what you're going to see. And I go out first thing, usually at first light. So that makes you have better chances. My problem with photography is that is the only photography that I'm able to do. I would happily go out far more often. I just don't have the time. And so certainly this year, perhaps this last couple of years, I've many a time thought, oh God, I wish I could just go out, and I can't. So I've got completely the opposite problem. And just carrying a camera when I'm walking the dog is a bit of a lifesaver. It's my little photography fix when I see something. Yeah. But that's the thing. I wouldn't have your problem, Jamie, in your shoes, because as Tom said, I'd just be out having a walk. I'd just go and see what you see. And if you don't see anything to point your camera at, you've had a nice walk.
Quite a commitment, that, isn't it, though? Get a dog.
It is, yeah, that is true.
I'll have a 14 to 35 and a Labrador, please.
I'm currently walking my cat. You can borrow my cat, Jay.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting him used to the garden at the moment, so we're walking up and down the garden with a cat. So I'll bring him round. Take him over.
It'll be a really slow walk, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a slow walk.
My sister-in-law's neighbour, she used to walk a cat on a lead.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Well, we just got this cat, haven't we? And we got to keep it in for 6 weeks. And now he's had his injections because he was a rescue.
Right.
So now I'm kind of making sure I just don't open the back door and he just runs out on the main road. So we just kind
Thanks for all the injections. So long.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's not insured yet. So
yeah, I mean, it's quite a walk around your grounds, though, isn't it, Daz? I mean,
it's like Downton Abbey, mate, isn't it?
Yeah. Can't you just move the servants out the West Wing and let the cat loose in there for a bit, Daz? No?
Yeah, borrow my cat, Jay.
Fair enough.
What about you, Sam? What do you struggle with, mate?
Nothing. I've got everything sorted.
Yeah, I thought you had. Yeah, I thought you had.
No.
Except for sitting up straight.
Except for sitting up straight, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of similar. I think I'm kind of probably slightly past the issue that Jamie was mentioning, but I do now tend to just go out with no expectations whatsoever and usually come back with no photos as well. But I think probably definitely what Dave was saying about time is a big issue for me. I mean, I'm very much confined to weekends, which in northwest of Scotland can be quite frustrating because often you'll have the best conditions in the middle of the week or on a Monday, and then by the time it's Saturday, it's all just gone. But you can go out anyway, and quite often those adverse conditions can lead to something really interesting, which, if you're not out in it, then you won't get it. And so that mindset now has forced me to just try and make the most of any time I do have and just go out whatever the conditions are. The flip side of that is that I usually find myself going back to the same spots because they're convenient, and I've probably got 2 or 3 locations around Torridon which are just my go-to on a Saturday morning, Sunday morning when I've got 3 hours to go out and do some photography. I always find myself back in the same location. So then I end up just repeating myself, taking the same photographs in different conditions, which can be good. But I think I need to get to the stage where I just explore more, I think is probably what I need to do. Yeah.
But I get that, Sam, because I think when, like the majority of us work kind of like Monday to Friday, and you've got that day of a weekend, especially if you have to travel, you almost want to be in your comfort zone. You don't want to spend that day or them 2 days, if you go away for a night, kind of searching kind of constantly like new place. Well, you do, but you just think, oh, I've driven all that way, or I've got that small window of opportunity. Let's go to somewhere that I'm familiar with and kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it is a double-edged sword, really, because you do want to go off and explore, but at the same time, you kind of want to come away with something perhaps that's worth the effort of travel.
Quite often, what I would do is I'll get up on a Saturday morning and just jump in the car and just drive, thinking, well, whatever the conditions are like, I've got 10, 11 potential locations in my mind where I think, this could work, depending on what the conditions are. But the further I drive, the more I'll go past various locations. Think, well, conditions aren't quite right for that location. I'll go to the next one, and I'll go, and then eventually I just find myself back at the same location.
Yeah,
because conditions haven't been right in the 5 locations I've driven through to get to the location where I just end up going, because I know I can get a photograph there. So I just always end up in the same place. So.
That sounds very similar to a shopping trip with my wife. I'm not going to lie. What about you, Stu? I mean, you're a seasoned pro, but you must find some things difficult. What do you find difficult?
You always find photography difficult. Jesus Christ. My problem at the minute is more of a business specific problem, in that, the type of, this is a problem I always have, and I've talked about it in the past, but like the problem I have is that all the photography I like to shoot is not that saleable. And it's actually getting worse in the bigger place now, because the stuff that I really like to shoot glaringly doesn't sell as well. And the stuff that I'm not so keen on shooting sells really well. And then you're looking at it from a sort of hard-nosed business perspective of, do I continue not wasting time, but, chasing the conditions that we all love to shoot in, and then finding that they don't actually appeal to the marketplace that I'm selling to, which is something that, to be honest, is unlikely to change in the long run, in Keswick especially. So it's just one of those a little bit that I just, certainly the last year, I've taken a lot of really good images through winter, and just people don't buy them. They just, and it's more of a specific problem to run in a gallery rather than just creating images to, sell prints in your own time. But it's a continual problem that I just, I have to think, well, what's an effective use of my time? Is it really going and chasing an amazing misty morning in a woodland when I know fine well that picture will almost never sell, versus going to the side of XYZ lake and taking a nice picture of a bloody reflection, and that's going to sell. So it's one of those ongoing things, but it's very much a sort of first world problem that I don't expect any sympathy from, to be honest. But yeah, it can be a little depressing sometimes when you take certain images that as photographers, they're the conditions that you really chase, but to the market I'm predominantly selling to, they don't care at all about that sort of thing. So
No.
I've got a question for you three, like you three professionals. Obviously, that is your business. Do you ever just go out and take a photo for yourself anymore? Like no vlogging camera, no thought of selling a print. You just go out there. This is my time. I'm just going to go out and enjoy it for me.
Yeah, I try to. But again, it then comes back to, is it effective? Is it an effective use of the time? Do you know what I mean? It's always just a bit of a balancing act. But yeah,
I spend quite a bit of time taking photographs on my own without video camera and so on. Unfortunately, that's the thing that I think most photographers have a hard time with is having the time. And I'm lucky that time has always been something that I've cherished, my own time and spending enough time doing the things that I really love doing. The downside to that is that up until a few years ago, I didn't have two pennies to rub together. I had a lot of time to do stuff, but I didn't have the money to do the stuff I really wanted to do. Like I've never had a regular job. I taught rock climbing for 10 years. I didn't make any money doing that, but I really enjoyed doing it. And then the photography, I always make sure I give myself lots of time to do the photography side of things, and I don't worry too much about the monetization of it. The only issue that I have now is that, I just turned 60, and now all of a sudden I find myself getting close to retirement, or might have come up with some health issues or whatever, and I just don't have the money to retire. So that's the downside of doing things the way I've done them. When it comes to photography, the hard part for me was, up until recently, was knowing when to put the camera down and just not take photographs. Because if you're not motivated, sometimes trying to force it just doesn't work. So just put the camera down and take up something else for a while. There's nothing wrong with putting the camera down for a month or two and doing some other kind of activity, I find. Like I'll get into some other art form, whether it be painting, or I think last year I got right into making plastic models again, like little tanks and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Just for something completely different, because just doing photography all the time, you just get burnt out. Or whether it be, well, not just photography, but any kind of activity. I think if you do it too much, you just get tired of doing it. You need a break. Anyway,
absolutely. Tom, are you the same? Do you take photos for yourself, or
all of them are for myself? 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in a weird position. Like, I'm not like Stu, who has a gallery who has to sell to the general public. For me, most of my income just comes from sponsorships, book and calendar sales, ad revenue, stuff like that. Stuff that's not really dependent on me shooting images that are going to appeal to the broadest audience. That's why I can make a video where there might not even be any photography. It's more about the experience of going out on a shoot. So that's everything from
the journey.
Yes, making a cup of tea in the van.
Sorry, Tom, but do you ever go out like thinking, like we do, I'm going out today, I'm leaving all the video equipment at home, I'm just going out for me to shoot a photo?
No, because then I would get something amazing and instantly regret it that I didn't film it. So no. Always, for me, it's just part and parcel of what I do. I mean, I went to Marrakesh and I took my X-Pan and had a great time shooting the streets of Marrakesh, stuff like that. So yeah, I do occasionally shoot for myself, but I don't think I would ever go out on a landscape shoot and not make a video, because when it goes well, I really enjoy that. And then there's a lot of value in that. You've got the image, but then you also have the story behind the image. So imagine, for example, I got like an unbelievable photograph. Let's just say I got really lucky. Everything came together and got some sort of world-beating image that was, you're going to win every competition and sell thousands of copies, whatever. If I didn't have the video, if I can't believe I didn't make a video of that, then I would regret that. So for me, I'm happiest without a doubt when I've been most productive. So if I go away on a trip and I make 2 or 3 videos and they're pretty decent videos with a good story, good narrative, bit of up and down, and a couple of nice images, then I'm super, super happy because I've used my time well. And for me, one video is a week, right? So if I go on a 3-day trip and make 3 videos, that means I've got 3 weeks of kind of being able to relax and not stress. So no, for me, I love it. Creating videos is just as creative as taking photographs. Framing the shots, framing the B-roll, telling the story, and trying to get it across. For me, the easy thing to do would be to make a YouTube video where the video begins as I've got my tripod and camera set up, right? And then I'm just talking about the image I'm taking, and there's the image. Thank you very much. But I try and do the whole thing, so that the anxiety that I'm feeling, the uncertainty about the weather forecast that's predicted for tomorrow, how's it going to go? I'm walking around, I'm wet, I'm cold, I need some food, I need to warm up in the van. This whole building this narrative, hopefully it sort of encourages people. It sells a bit of a fantasy, I suppose. I've never been good at teaching photography, but I'm quite good at hopefully encouraging people to go out and shoot. Yeah.
I think the thing as well, I was going to ask you the question on this. It's as I mean, you're the biggest landscape photographer on YouTube, right? And it must be very tempting for you when you look at what sells as a YouTube video. But you've never gone down that route. I don't think personally, I don't think you've ever gone down that route of going, I don't know, the 7 tips or this or that sells. You've always stuck to your guns. It must be. Have you ever been tempted to?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You're not shooting images. Here's why. You've got a crap lens. You need to do this.
Pros know this.
Yeah, that's the one. What is it? Why is everything pros know this that you don't? It's so condescending. It's utterly. Anyway, I get it. It's a game. YouTube is a game. You have to gamify the whole title. And you have the best video in the world. If no one clicks on it, it doesn't matter. So you kind of need to create the packaging that makes people click. But
have you ever put an arrow on a thumbnail, though?
Yeah, I do that. I do an arrow on a thumbnail. I'll try and make the title a little bit, what's the word, like antagonizing, just a little bit, so you don't get people riled up and click on it. But I never stray too far from the actual content. But the thing is, right, what happens is you're either a leader or you're a follower. And I find that people who are just followers who are kind of just like do what everyone else does. They see someone drops a video, they see it success, I'm going to do that, or everyone's using pro in their title, so I'm going to start doing that. You're just a shadow. You'll never be the top. You have to innovate and you have to carve your own path and you have to be a leader. So I always I try, and it's so tempting, and I have dipped into it a little bit occasionally and then instantly regretted it. But you can't copy. You have to be the first. Right? You have to create your own thing, and you want to be the person that other people are copying. You don't want to be looking at what's performing well. Right? I'm going to do that. And I can see why people do it, and it does work. And those videos have got hundreds of thousands of views, but there's no longevity in it. It's typically just a trend or something, and then the next thing will come along. So if your strategy is to see what's doing well, and then you do that as well, you'll always just be a shadow or an echo or a follower. You'll never be a leader. So you kind of have to do your own thing, whatever that is. That would be my main piece of encouragement to anyone who wants to do YouTube. I've done some videos that have been completely original and they've not done well, but I'm so proud of them. Like I made a video once where there was no video. How about that? And it did all right. I thought it was all audio, and I used a little soundbar thing, a sound graphic, and the idea was to get people imagining what I was shooting, and then they don't see it until the final image at the very end. I thought that was genius. It's not good for YouTube, like the algorithm. That was a good idea.
I bet it was the easiest edit you've ever done.
Sorry?
I bet it was the easiest edit you've ever done.
No, it was actually very hard.
Was it?
No, so the edit was, but the actual recording it and trying to get it across, because you've got to, you have to make really good ambient audio recordings, and then you also have to be very descriptive in the way that you speak. So it was a lot of fun, actually.
I'm going to steal that idea. I don't care about being original.
But it's funny because you're describing what you're shooting, but the viewer doesn't get to see it until the very end, and it's like, what are they picturing? And it's an interesting concept. But it's a funny old game, YouTube.
It is a funny old game. I did one of those with you, Dave. Do you remember? Where I did no video. We did do you remember that? We did an interview, we did a chat, and I forgot to hit record.
Yeah.
So literally I just had the audio and no video, and I had to try and just put some stills in to make it work. Yeah.
You could do one with video and no audio. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do that a lot. They just never see the light of day.
You could do it as a silent film with little captions at the bottom.
I could speed it up, make it black and white and grainy.
Played it twice for speed. Gary tries to get through the Lake District again.
Anyway, do you know what I think? I think we've had way too much intellectual like photography conversation. I don't know about you guys, but it's been way too, it's like last week with Alistair. It just feels just like we've had,
last week when you said to Alistair, or just before, you went, "Oh, next week we've even got a bigger name coming on." How insulting was that?
I didn't mean it. I was drunk. I'd had a couple of beers. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't. We did cut it, to be fair. But you know, I mean, I wasn't lying, was I?
The first time you said it, you said, "Oh, will you come back again?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'd come back again." Then afterwards, after you said that,
I might do.
You said, "Well, you will come back again." He was like,
"Maybe."
Can I just say though? Can I just say what a lovely bloke he was?
He was.
Yeah,
He was a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's very well behaved. Actually.
Yeah, he was. I think he was holding his tongue with me a little bit. I'm not going to lie, but yeah, he was.
Yeah, it was not a therapy session, wasn't it, for you last week?
It was a therapy session for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, back in. So we've had way too much photography conversation. So, like, literally, right, we're going to put Tom on the spot here, right? Okay. No, it's all right. We're not going to ask you several questions. You're okay. Just, what was your favourite film as a kid, Tom?
Goonies.
Goonies.
Good choice.
You're too young for that, aren't you?
Who?
No,
Goonies, that was like the 80s. How old are you? 41, 42?
40.
You're 40. So you were born in 84. Blimey. Okay. No, okay. I mean, you would have watched it after the event, but yeah. Okay. Goonies,
Films
okay.
Do last a long time.
Because I was thinking like Independence Day would have been around your sort of early teenage years. But Goonies, no? Okay. Okay. Daz, you asked a question, so what's yours? Can I guess?
Go on.
No, actually, I don't want to guess.
Go on, guess. No, guess now.
Gremlins.
No. Star Wars.
Like how far back are we going here? Like when you say kid, like teenager,
how old would I be? I would have been 9, I think. So I think did Star Wars come out in 77?
77, yeah.
77, yeah. So I would have been 9 then. So for me, that was. Didn't know anything about the film, just went on, I think it was a Saturday morning cinema, went and saw it, and that was it then. Hooked after that. Got all the memorabilia, even got an LP, Star Wars LP. That's how far back we're going.
What was that?
It was just the soundtrack. You just listened. You obviously just listened to the film on the LP. It was great.
Oh, yeah, I had that.
Yeah. I bet that's worth a few quid now.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to that.
Some of the toys are worth loads, like if you've got the original.
I had the original poster from the Odeon cinema that my friend used to work in, or my friend's dad used to work in the cinema. And my brother come home and said, Jay's giving you this. And it was the original, unfolded, original Star Wars poster. And I just put it up on the wall with sellotape, and then I ripped it all off. God knows how much that would have been worth now.
Yeah, you don't think about those things when you're a kid, though, do you?
You don't. No, of course not.
No. Dave, was yours like Charlie Chaplin or
Buster Keaton?
Harold Lloyd?
No, it was a steam train that I thought was coming out of the screen, and we were all there in top hats. No,
and it was actually a steam train.
Yeah, it was. The middle bit of the aisle got flattened. No, so I was 70s and I lived in Landrindod, so we didn't actually have a cinema. But they used to put, we're getting some next week apparently. They used to put a film on every now and then, and one that I went to see, and then I went and saw it 5 or 6 more times, was Kelly's Heroes. Clint Eastwood and Telly Savalas, and Donald Sutherland as a hippie in World War II. Yeah. And I the thing is, I was a kid and I didn't get the comedic aspects of it, but I've probably watched it 50 times over the years, and I still really enjoy it because it's so kitschy and it's just a fabulous bit of comedy. I love it still to this day.
Okay. I'm dreading Jamie's. Well, go on, Jamie. You do watch films, right? You know what a film is, don't you?
I do know what a film is, yes, but okay. I must admit, were trying to think of the answer to the question. I couldn't remember watching films as a kid, if I'm honest. I think the first film I saw was probably when I was about 17, 18, because I didn't go to the pictures. We'd had no cinema where we were.
Did you have television when you were younger?
We had black
back
and
on the
white
farm,
with a push button black and white, you know, the ones?
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah.
had one of those.
Yeah.
But the one that sticks in my mind is probably Jaws, because that was the one that I enjoyed the most, but also scared the life out of me, especially when that head fell out of the boat.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's the biggest
I jumped at
moment
that
ever, isn't it? Oh my God. And I must say, that still lives in my mind whenever I go. I don't go swimming in the sea that often, but if I'm on holiday with Leslie and stuff and I go out in the sea swimming, I'll always make sure there's other people swimming further out in the sea than where I am. So they're my human markers, they're human boys. So if they go down, I know I'm back to the shore pretty damn quick. Yeah.
I suppose the webbed fingers come in handy for getting away quick.
They do help. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The propulsion gets me there quicker. Yeah. So that's stuck in my mind, Jaws.
Okay. Okay. Adam?
Well, I remember my mum and dad wouldn't let us watch it when it came out, and that was Dr. Doolittle. Not Dr. Doolittle, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, because of the
Bang Bang.
Yeah, the child.
Oh, the child catcher.
The child catcher.
It was
scary.
quite scary. Yeah, it was quite scary. I remember that. Yeah.
Lollipops, lollipops. And Dr. Doolittle, that was pretty good too.
Yeah.
But I was pretty young when I watched those. I mean, they came out before I was born, I think, or maybe in the...
I only remember...
Well, I might have been when I was born.
Doolittle with Eddie Murphy in it. I don't remember the original Dr. Doolittle.
No, I can't remember the actor's name, but...
Rex Harrison. Rex Harrison. Yes, it was. Rex Harrison, yeah, from My Fair Lady. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Sam, what's yours like? Something from the 2000s, I'd imagine?
I'm the same age as, well, almost the same age as Stu and Tom. I'll be 40 next year, so I'm not far off. The first film I remember being obsessed with when I was young was The Jungle Book. I used to watch The Jungle Book on a loop. And I also, being part Indian, I used to get a lot of comparisons to Mowgli when I was young. And it was actually my nickname in school. So I related to him quite a lot.
Oh, okay.
And I had the hair as well. So, and then I'd probably
go to school in just a pair of shorts with no shoes on, and
that's how we rolled in the Northwest Highlands. Probably first one which was in the cinema, which I was properly obsessed with, was probably Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's a good film. You know, that's the special effects on that are.
Oh, it still stand up today.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, very good.
Yep.
Yeah. Stu?
I thought about Jurassic Park, but then I thought that would have been too obvious. But I remember seeing Back to the Future at school.
I knew someone was going to say it.
What?
I knew someone was going to say it.
Why? What's wrong with Back to the Future?
I was going to say it. He's just stolen it from me.
Does anybody happen to see the Back to the Future musical?
No.
It was so good. Oh my God.
Wow.
It's incredible. I've seen it twice. Every year me and my wife go to London and go and watch a show or something. And we got tickets to see Back to the Future. No idea what to expect. It's unbelievable. Like the special effects. Like literally they drive a car at 88 miles an hour on the stage. It's incredible. Yes, if you ever get the chance, you won't regret it. It's unbelievable.
Why don't we, instead of going to a photography show next year, why don't we just go to London? We'll go to Gary's 80s 90s club
80s
night,
90s disco first,
followed by Back to the Future musical.
Yeah. Do you know what? I never thought I'm the last person to be a fan of musicals. And my wife said, no, we need to go to Les Mis. You'll love Les Mis. And I'm like, I'm going to hate it. Absolutely loved it. Have you guys been to Les Mis?
I love Les Mis. I've been to it 3 times. Brilliant.
Seen the film?
The musical is just...
I got to see the musical. It's fantastic.
And the whole stage revolves. It's like fantastic. If you haven't had the chance to go, and the other musical I really like is Hamilton. Have you
seen that one? No.
Oh, Hamilton's great as well. Really good. Yeah, got to say.
Back to the
Future. Okay.
I was going to say, have any of you seen the Queen one?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'd said
Oh,
before.
We Will Rock You. Yeah,
I
brilliant.
saw Queen.
You saw? Well, yeah, that's better, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
No, my mate was in the one in London. So that's the only.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only one musical I've ever seen. But I've seen it about 6-7 times.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's really good, that one.
I've seen Phantom of the Opera twice. I thought that was.
It's all getting a bit suspect, all this
the Jersey
musical
boys,
theatre
the Jersey
discussion,
boys.
isn't
Mate,
it?
you've got to see the Jersey.
Have you
boys.
noticed? It's all
You
coming
guys
out
know
now.
the singer?
Is it?
Yeah.
What, the Jersey Boys or Phantom?
No, musical theatre entirely.
Oh no, mate. If you've never seen Queen, honestly, We Will Rock You. You'll have and the Jersey Boys. You'll have a different take on musicals.
What were you going to say, Adam? Sorry.
I was just going to say, do you guys know the singer Ben Foster, who was in the Phantom of the Opera and
playing in golf for Man
musicals.
United as well, I think.
Well, he lives right behind Paul in his village. He owns this
okay.
big house behind Paul, and we went and checked out his house. It's amazing, just incredible.
Did he know you were going to check out his house?
Long lens?
Yeah, well, they're
600 mil prime.
No, they're renting it out, and there was some talk about doing a photography conference or something there. It's pretty nice place.
Okay.
They've got a big copper bathtub in the back garden, like a big hot tub.
600 mil prime.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
I once did a bit of work with a guy who his main income is the royalties from the prosthetics for Phantom of the Opera.
Oh yeah.
And he wanted some work doing. I had to go to his house, which is a big Georgian country
Bet that
pile.
cost him an arm and a leg.
Yeah, very good.
Oh,
come on! You knew that was coming.
But it was fascinating because he showed me all the gubbins that he used to make it, and he has to make new prosthetics all the time because they wear out, and then they have to fit the various actors and this, that, and the other. And he had a BAFTA on his sideboard because he got a BAFTA for doing the makeup and the effects. And he also did the Ewoks in Star Wars.
Okay.
He did John Hurt in The Elephant Man. But what was really interesting was because he worked with a load of Hollywood A-listers, he's a really good photographer, portrait photographer, and he used to take headshots of all the actors. So he took me into this studio and he had this big rack of prints. Now, these prints were sort of 4 by 3 feet. And because he needed them for reference purposes. And it was unbelievable. He says, "Oh, have a look through." And I was looking, just tipping. It's like when you go into one of these shops that sell posters and you flick through them in a rack. So, Pacino, Harvey Keitel. It was just an incredible roll call of the Hollywood, like proper A-listers. And he'd done all these headshots of them. Fascinating guy. Bit of a nut job, of course, because they all are, but interesting person to spend. I was there all day, and he just showed me around his house. And we did some work together. He paid his bills. I only did the one project with him, so I lost touch. But fascinating bloke, really colourful life. It's apropos of nothing. Sorry, cut that long.
Yeah, no, that's all right. No, it's all right, Dave. We'll carry on. Anyway, my film was Back to the Future, but Stu stole it. So,
what film as a kid scared the life out of you?
Poltergeist. No, Salem's Lot. Salem's Lot absolutely petrified me.
The Exorcist.
Exorcist, mate. I'm with Adam all the way. That frightened the life out of me.
Do you know there's a bit in Salem's Lot where have you watched Salem's Lot? I think it's David Soul, isn't it? I think in the original. And there's a bit where you've got this sort of ghostly apparition of someone's brother tapping at the window to get in. And we'd watched it the night before, and my brother was downstairs on his own in the dark, and we got a button and tied it to a piece of fishing wire and just like literally, like so it tapped on the window. He absolutely shit himself. Honestly, hilarious. What film did you say, Daz? I've had a drink.
Me and Adam, we both picked The Exorcist because I remember.
Oh, The Exorcist.
I was too young to, I was too young to get into the cinema. But my uncle had a dodgy kind of. He had 2 videos, and he used to kind of tape to tape, and then set up this little video round. So we used to get a load of like ooky kind of videos. And I don't know how old I was when I was
The Omen. That's the other one I was going to say.
I watched all of those. I must have been about 8 between 8 and 10.
Very young.
These.
I think one of my favorites was The Thing with Kurt Russell. That was good. That was a bit later though.
Yeah. We had the Evil Dead. Do you remember that? No, was it the Evil? Yeah, the Evil Dead. But it was almost like a comedy. It was more like sort of shock factor than anything else. I mean,
for me, it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I was quite young, and it was a dodgy video. And some mates were, we're going to. My brother got it from a video shop. It's an under the counter job, and we're all there like smoking embassies, thinking we're really grown up, and then we all end up shitting ourselves.
I'll tell you what film scared me as an adult. And that's the film called Sexy Beast. Have you seen that? With Ray Winston?
Good film.
And Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley is scary.
Mate, he was seriously scary in that.
It's one of those films that at the end of it, you go, bloody hell, that was quick. Because it's so good, you just don't notice the time going by.
Yeah.
That was scary. I remember when I joined Facebook, this is going back a little while, and it said, what sort of films do you like? And 2 films, my all-time favourite film, Glengarry Glen Ross, and Sexy Beast, they're dialogue films. They're all dialogue. They set them in a place as a strong storyline, but it's dialogue. And I put on Facebook, I like adult films. And I thought nothing of it. I went back sometime later and checked grown-up films.
Oh my god! Oh, Dave, I love you, mate. Oh, well, look, we've been going. I think we've been going for 1 hour 47 minutes now. So I think at this point,
Tom's losing the will to live.
Well, can I just do a quick Daz and interrupt you there, Go? Because I think we should also be celebrating Tom's 10-year anniversary on YouTube.
Oh yeah, good video.
I watched that video today. Right, seriously, that was a great video. The way you cut in your 10-year-old self and your. But actually, I've got a question for you on that. Have you still got all that footage then? Do you keep all of your footage?
I have everything.
Do you? Yeah.
For that very reason, because you never know when you might need it. Got hard drives and hard drives and hard drives stacked up.
Because I kept mine for I've been going since about 2016 or 17. I kept mine until about 2022, and I've deleted so much now, it's all gone. But that's a really inspired to watch you, from the original to the present day. Really, really, yeah. Again, outlier, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Again, it's like I'm not saying that every video needs to be completely original. Most of my videos I go out with my camera, take some pictures. It is what it is. But given the opportunity, I try and create something a little bit different or original. So when I'm coming up with a concept for a video, I'll often, rather than looking at what everyone's doing and what's doing well, I'll think, okay, what's not been done, and then I'll try that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was really good. It was really enjoyable. Thank you, Sam, for interrupting there.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated. But no, I mean, look, I think we've been going for, like, say, nearly an hour and 50 minutes. So I want to say massive thank you to Tom for coming on. Really, really appreciate it, mate.
Yes,
like,
Tom.
Genuinely, really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on.
And next week we've got somebody even bigger. Oh no! Sorry.
Next week, I was literally, Jamie. I was
we've got
just about
someone
to say
even
that.
bigger next week.
I was literally just about to say that we've got someone even bigger next week. But no, it's been great. And look, keep your entries coming for the competition, which I forgot to mention at the end of last week. They are much appreciated, and we are really enjoying them. I'll tell you what I was going to say actually, and I'm going to totally put Tom on the spot here. Right, I'm really sorry, Tom. If I buy one of your books, Yeah. Will you sign it so we can give it away to our competition winner?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But you need to let me know, because the amount of times I promise people I'll sign a book, and then they order it, and then I'm thinking, oh God, it's 3:30. I need to get all my packages shipped off, and then I pack them all, send them, and then the next day I go, oh God.
Yeah. No, I'll order it. I'll order it Monday, but I'll drop you a message prior to me ordering it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And we'll give that away along with, obviously it's not as big as Sam's bag.
My low pro bag. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's something we could just throw in as a, no, yeah, I'll do that. But yeah, please keep your entries coming, because, and I want to see, I want to see some more street. We haven't seen many street shots, so send a few more in, but please keep your entries coming. It's much appreciated. That's it. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Thanks again to Tom for coming. Really, really appreciate you coming on. It's been great. And we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.
Cheers, Christmas one next week. Christmas jumpers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Christmas jumpers.
That'll just be you, Jamie. That'll literally just be you.
Okay.